Thank you, Madam President. I'll never forget a story that my father told me when he was younger, that he was employed at an establishment and his superior came to him and quickly ushered him into a locker area. And when my father asked why, he said, because the owner's coming by and he doesn't like immigrants and he'll fire you if he sees that you're a Greek immigrant. I have the honor of representing Fresno County as well as 10 others in my very large district. But I remember learning that in Fresno, there were anti-Armenian covenants written into the land use policies and rules of our area in the Central Valley. In other words, Armenians could not buy property in certain areas, they were disallowed in others. I think if you inventory what our friend from Cardenas, our senator from Cardenas had identified, race is problematic in public policy and how we conduct ourselves as a state. If history is any indication, whether you're Irish or you're Jewish or you're Greek or Armenian or you're Chinese, we are replete with examples in America of discriminatory practices and policies. Now, my friend from Senator from Los Angeles brought up Regents of California v. Bakke. And I remember studying that in law school. It was a very interesting, pivotal case. This dates back to 1978, where the Supreme Court rejected the use of strict racial quotas. That was interesting, strict racial quotas. And then in 2016 with Prop 209, 209 rejected the policy of outright affirmative action. Now, we've heard commentary today that it achieved the exact opposite of that it has become an encumbrance and a difficulty to folks seeking employment and admission into higher education. But since that time, universities and jobs opportunities have been allowed to use race as one of many considerations in hiring or admissions. So this idea that affirmative action doesn't exist is just not factually accurate. We have affirmative action policies in both the public and private spheres across our state, across our nation. It exists. It gives consideration to economic background, race background, sex, and a number of others. So we already have affirmative action policies, despite the fact that 209 says that we shouldn't. So we have a contradiction here that is troubling, especially in light of the heightened tensions that we've experienced over the last couple of months. But my concern is that ACA 5 is a prelude to institutionalizing quotas. And that, to me, is a concern. And I think it should be a concern for everyone, because that's precisely what we did not want to have happen. And in other words, it would be the end of the Equal Protection Clause protections in the U.S. Constitution. So using discrimination to combat discrimination is not just an oxymoron in principle, it's bad policy. I would argue that we cannot simultaneously be discriminatory in effort to address discrimination. And I think that to support this would be to reject the Equal Protection Clause of the United States Constitution in support of equal protection. We are literally getting drowned out by the tensions that exist in real terms, and they are very real. Discrimination, racial profiling, disadvantaged communities in upward mobility, these are very serious problems that we have. But the idea of undoing an anti-discrimination policy in our Constitution in favor of discrimination just doesn't pass the smell test. So I know that a lot of folks are going to have, strong opinions on this, but I think allowing us to use the mechanisms that are in place right now in getting better at them. We heard why K through 12 is a problematic period for a lot of our youth. Improving access to education, improving the social services, the 0 through 5 developmental stages. The idea that you're going to artificially allow folks into a university setting or into a job placement setting by using quotas is not going to deal with the underlying challenges. This is the easy way out. The hard way out is to address the systemic problems that I've just mentioned, in my opinion.